Everything seems to be running smoothly. And by the looks of it, we're here. Welcome back, everybody, to F1 RL Round 3 Imola. I love a bit of Imola. I want to see some clean racing here today. Hopefully we get that. And yeah. Hopefully these drivers today can keep clean on track. That is the most important thing of all. Let's actually make it so you can hear the game audio while I fix that. And we can have a nice, relaxing, chill day. Oh, it's raining. Oh dear. We don't like to see rain around here. Rain around here can cause carnage. I'm guessing the race is hopefully dry. If the race is hopefully dry, we should be seeing a soft to medium strategy. Or medium to soft, depending on how the drivers want to work it. But the undercut is very powerful. So, could be soft to medium if it is a dry track. Or we could see multiple softs. Soft sprints at least. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. As we just see session start in 0. Who is not loading in? That is the real question. That we shall find out soon, hopefully. There we go, we've all loaded in. No one's left, so the grid will be today. Harry Hen up in P1, currently provisional, that is, in the Haas. As I have now got drivers asking me for setups. But I won't give them a setup because I am a very respectable person. So let me tell these drivers, no, simple as. But it looks like it will be a wet race around here, as I'm just trying to find out some information from the drivers currently. And then yeah. But we have got drivers coming out onto the track now. By the looks of it, is going to be the Haas of Harry Hen in provisional P1 currently. Of course, no driver has set a lap yet. But he is in provisional P1 currently. That should change very soon. But for now, we're vibing. And we have had some info from Zonic. Zonic will not cook, apparently. That's an interesting one. As we do have maxed out graphics here for today for this F1 RL race. So we get to see some nice, lovely cinematics of some of these drivers around a very wet track that looks to be. Is it wet tyres though? I'm not too sure. It could be intermediates. I think it will be the intermediate tyres, as it looks to be. Inters are the fastest on track. Nova is already invalid the first lap. Things you'd love to see. Harry Hen though, looking like setting a decent lap potentially. However, it probably won't because that battery has been drained. Some drivers forgetting to turn off ERS by the looks of it. But this is a driver who is on a lap. Let's go on board with this to see through the first two amazing corners. Into the thirds. Takes a bit of curb. That is perfect in my eyes. First sector is looking very nice from the Alpine driver. Got to be very careful on that exit of that curb, not to bog the engine down, as there is no invalidation there from the Alpine. So it's looking like it could be a good lap so far. see Sector 2. It will be a purple Sector 2. On the curb. Interesting take for that first chicane. Very interesting. Normally you avoid the curb there, but the Alpine is doing what the Alpine is doing. And so far, could be on for a provisional pole. And to the line, the Alpine goes. It's going to be a 124.8 provisional pole, of course. Hopefully we'll see some faster times further into the session. As Harry Hen has gone invalid, Lizard Toes will go P2 provisional in the Red Bull. We'll see a couple drivers here hopefully finish a lap. Pharrell, I would say one of the favourites coming into this to potentially win this race in the Williams car. However, back on the Steam Deck, will it happen? It's a P3, not too bad. Andy Moore sticks it in P4 as well. There's a yellow flag up ahead. It looks to be a Haas letting some cars through. Is Andy going to go for a call-off lap and then maybe push again? Who knows, who knows, who knows. Harry Hen, though, missing out on that first lap. What can he do on the second? How has that not been invalid? All four tyres left that track for sure. Demizzi goes pole with a 23.2, 1.6 faster than any other driver. What a lap from Demizzi. Let's go on board with Jamaican Bacon. Of course, another one of the favourites to do very well here. Already winning one race in Tier 2. And it's at Division 2. Pretty much is the same, to be fair, when you look at it. But the Jamaican Bacon here looks to be setting a decent lap with no battery being used. Is he just feeling out the track maybe? Potentially. But we'll ride on board with it anyway, just to see what it will be without any battery being deployed. I've got a feeling it might be a 128. I don't know for sure, but it might be a 128. We could be looking at here as DWR Flames, last week's race winner, goes P2 provisional with a 123.8. So it's a 26 from the Jamaican Bacon going to the line, but now he's starting his push lap. Getting a little bit of a tow from the Aston Martin up ahead. A little bit of dirty air through the corners in wet conditions. You don't want to see it. However, that Aston Martin X-Zoink is all over the place at the moment. I don't even think there's a front wing on that car at the moment. Oh no, there is. I'm very surprised. Has to be careful when re-entering the track, of course, but looks to be just driving around carelessly at the moment. Anyway, back on board with the Jamaican Bacon here. Invalidated the lap. I did not see that coming. Is there enough fuel to go again, though? That is another question. But we shall see at the end of the day. I've got a feeling there might be enough fuel in that car. He likes to overfuel sometimes, and it might be one of these times where the overfuel could come in clutch here. Of course, the wet conditions don't look to be easing up anytime soon. But at the same time, they don't look like they're becoming more heavy. It doesn't look like the track's moving more towards wets. It does look more towards the soft tyre compound. But still, it's very much inters at the moment. A little bit on the grass there for the Jamaican Bacon. Loses the rear end coming out of that corner. That'll lose a little bit of time. But it's very fast. It's a purple sector 1 for the Jamaican Bacon here. We could see a very nice lap forming. Of course, winner in the first race didn't make the second. He's here for the third. He wants to win it, close the gap down on the championship leaders. He's got the ability to. Let's just see what will happen. A little bit slidey coming out that corner, but it's still a purple sector 2. Now down to the downhill section. You want to get on this curb on the inside as much as possible. He hits it very nicely, carrying a lot of speed. Keeps the rear end together. It's a sprint to the line. Will it be pole? Will it be provisional? It won't be. P2 provisional. It's not a bad lap at all. A little bit shaky in that third sector. Wasn't on the curbs enough by the looks of it. Let's go on board with Shredded. Shredded is a fast driver. Got a lot of good pace in that car. Did really well in Portugal. Let's see what he can do in Imola. As I've just realised, there's actually a crane on the side of the circuit. I didn't even know that. Well, you learn something new every day. Out of the mass amount of laps I've done around this track, I never knew there was a crane. But anyway, let's stop the waffle. Shredded is on a lap. Can he make the Alpine fly? We'll find out now. Great curb usage there from Shredded. Ooh, maybe shifted down an extra gear that wasn't necessary there, as it is a Haas on the side of the track. Whether that is Domizzi or Harry, I'm not too sure. But that was a purple sector 1 there from Shredded Meats. Seems to be downshifting that extra bit more, losing a tiny bit of speed. However, very nice lap so far. Will it be purple sector 2? It won't be. Down into sector 3. What will it be? Purple sector 1. So it's got to be an improvement, surely. We'll see very shortly here. Around the final corner. Keeps the rear intact. Good speed out of it. What will it be? It's an improvement, but not an improvement in position. 3,000 separate P5 and P6. It's not what you want to see if you are the likes of Shredded there. But Andy Moore, cooking? After playing a brilliant charity match, I believe it's called Kickabout for Cancer, comes into F1 RL, and he's currently sat in P8. Not a bad position whatsoever for Andy Moore. F1 TikTok Verstappen, some say. Let's go on board with Shredded Meats once again. Never mind, let's not go on board with Shredded Meats. Let's go on board with Latifi. I didn't see that last lap that was set, but a 1:23.4 pushes the Jamaican Bacon down into P3. Domizzi though, he is cooking right now. And we do have the likes of your average Russian staying in the pits so far. Hasn't decided to come out yet. Very interesting. I don't think it's going to be soft, so your average Russian might want to come out sometime soon and potentially set a lap. But the field is very equally gapped, and wow, what a lap from Farrell, joining the other Williams. Identical times. Both 23.570. Wow. But of course we do have Domizzi in P1 currently. Parking a little bit of a dangerous area, but at the same time not too bad at all. Waiting for the Merc to pass and the McLaren. And they both came past cleanly. Nothing affected from each other. But Demizzi is still in P1 currently, with overall a very nice lead, some would say. 2/10 gap between himself and Latifi, the next driver. But the story of the minute is those two Williams, identical times. Extremely rare to have that. And for two Williams drivers to get that as well brings joy to my hearts. It really does. Let's go on board with Dilb quickly as he is on the lap. Never mind, Dilb is invalid. Neo Keo also invalid. And Harry Hen isn't somehow, but 1/10 up currently. Looking to slot it in that top 10 position. As there is a McLaren off track there, whether that was a spin or whether that McLaren was allowing the pass through. We're not too sure, but we shall find out very soon. In fact, let's go to that McLaren's POV. It looked like it was a spin there from Dilb. Naughty Dilb. On board with Demizzi. Let's see what Demizzi does different to all the other drivers to be in P1 currently. Takes a lot more curb there with a lot more speed for sure. Perfect entry to that little section there. There's going to be a purple sector 1. It is a purple sector 1. Could be a little bit more closer to that apex there. However, looking like a very nice lap so far. Down into 5th. No, decides 4th. Doesn't want to risk out the engine slowing to lose a little bit of speed. Carries the flow through. Down into 2nd. A little bit risky. When you're in 2nd gear, you're more likely to spin, of course. But so far, Demizzi is flying. Using all the exit there possible. He's set in this lap as if he's a tier 1 driver here. Now Demizzi to the line. It's going to be pole. It's going to be a 22 something. What is it? It's a 22.2. The track is starting to dry now. Everyone should be out on their laps for inter tyres, I believe. Not quite enough for the soft tyres. I think your average Russian wanted those soft tyres, but I don't think he's going to get them. We will find out though very shortly, because your average Russian should come out right about now, or else I don't think he will get the lap in. But there's a Williams on softs. There is a Williams driver on soft tyres chancing. Let's see what these drivers are doing tyre-wise. Jamaican Bacon chancing the softs. I don't think it's time for them. I think it's that little bit too early. Pharrell also chancing the softs. DWR Flames chancing the softs. Shredded on the softs. Maybe it is time for softs. Neo Keo on softs. I don't think it is ready for softs. This could be a big mistake from some of these drivers here. The likes of Andy Moore could benefit here a lot if getting a good interlap together. But it could also be softs. That track is drying, but I feel like it's just a little bit too wet. You can always see the shine on the track surface of where it isn't dry enough. However, there are some dry spots on this track, so maybe it is time for softs. I'm not too sure though. Let's go track order then. Who have we got out currently on the lap? Neo Keo, 3 temps down. I don't think it was enough time for the soft tyres. 3 temps down on the original time. Your average Russian deciding not to come out of the pits. Harry Hen finishes. Demizzi finishes currently provisional pole. Let's see. the Alpine of Shredded. Shredded 2 temps down. Not what you want to see. Nova 1.1 up. This is what we want to see. We want to see Dylan get a good time here together. Just stick it in the 20s, even if it's 22s, 23s. What's it going to be? 23. Not a bad time. P2. A lot of these drivers have missed out though on times, I believe. Andy Moore 9 temps up. This could send Andy back into the top 7. Was it a good enough exit? It was. Andy Moore into the top 7 then. Of course that is provisional, but it might be final. Dilb goes P2, drops Andy down to P8. What can Shredded do? I don't think Shredded could do much. Hasn't done enough. Latifi goes pole, 22.1. And I believe all those soft runners have been punished majorly going out on those soft tyres. Just a little bit too early. Track wasn't dry enough. But that will be at the end of the qualifying session. Nova up into 4th then. Wow. What a comeback from being last all the way up to 4th. But here will be our grid for the start of the race around Imola. Latifi will be on the front row in pole position. Next will be Demizi also joining Latifi on the front row. Dilb just in behind on the second row. Nova as well. Elite Shots in 5th. Jamaican Bacon in 6th. Pharrell in 7th. Andy Moore in 8th. DWR Flames 9th. Shredded in 10th. Lizard Toes 11th. Neo Kyo 12th. Harry Hen 13th. Zonic up in 14th. And your average Russian not coming out. Wow. Let's see how this race will be. It's looking dry out there. It is looking dry. We could see the soft to medium strategy come out very shortly from a lot of these drivers here. Hopefully they haven't all gone wet setups. Because if it is dry throughout the whole of the race, these wet setups will get punished by those that have the dry setups. However, it's looking interesting. It's shaping up for a good ride here. A good race. Let's see what happens. While we are here in the waiting period, while drivers pick their fuel loads, tyre strategies, we will read out some Imola facts. So, let's read out a quick fact by Imola. Or about Imola. Never mind, I can't actually find one. I haven't managed to get one in time. But it's 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's lights out. Is it lights out? And it's lights out on the way they go. That was a bit of a delayed start there. But looks to be already some position changes. DWR Flames up into P8. Andy Moore back down into P11 now. Dropping a little bit of wheel bashing there. 2 cars wide, 3 cars wide into the first corner. Pharrell up into P5. Jamaican Bacon's had a spin or an incident. Andy Moore's retired from the session. Safety car is out. Your average Russian into Andy Moore. No front ring for the average Russian. Andy Moore is out. Your average Russian with a penalty. Let's just real quick check the incidents to see what happened there. So it looks like your average Russian had... Oh. Okay, so it looks like Elite Shots has a little collision with Nova. Then Nova having a collision with Elite Shots. Neo Kyo collision with Andy Moore. Andy collision with Neo. Pharrell collision with the teammate. And then we see terminal damage for Andy Moore and your average Russian. Severe collision with Harry Hen. 5-second penalty to your average Russian. Harry Hen Do you have wing damage? No. But Jamaican Bacon down into P13. If these drivers are on the medium compound tyres right now, I would be pitting for those soft tyres 100%. Get off the mediums. You've got so many sets of softs. Just go soft till the end. It's possible. A free stop softs is very possible. Jamaican Bacon is into the pits. Andy Moore has left the session. Not what you want to see. What's it going to be for the Jamaican Bacon, though? It's going to be mediums. Very interesting. As there is some position changes here between Harry Hen, who is missing an end plate. I'm going to say it now. Harry Hen, if you are reading or if you are hearing this, you need to pit for a new front wing. You're going to lose so many positions. You're going to be a danger on track. And we have some words from Andy Moore here. Someone came back on the track unsafe. Not what you want to hear. Not what you want to hear at all. Andy, just make sure you have a clip of it and send it in to the stewards. We'll be looking at it after the race, and penalties will be given out. Very sorry to see your race ruined from someone coming back onto the track unsafely. But I hope you had fun with your not soccer tournament. I nearly said soccer tournament. Wow! I've been hanging around with too many Americans. Hope you had fun at your football game the other day, your charity match. But it's a shame you didn't have that much fun racing today. You had a good qualifying, but unlucky race ending. But we're now behind a safety car. This is where we will read out some Imola facts, because I think I've actually got some now. Okay, so here are some Imola facts about the circuit of Imola. So Imola is only 40 km east of Bologna in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. It hosted a first round of the F1 Championship in 1980, and the circuit appeared as a host of staged the Italian Grand Prix once before, securing an annual spot on the calendar with the home of the San Marino Grand Prix. Absolutely amazing. I love Imola. For me, it's one of my favourite tracks. Just make sure you get that clip, Andy. Send it in to the stewards. Open up the ticket and we'll have a look at it some point soon. It's a very shame to see an early safety car, but it was always going to happen. People always push a little bit too much at the start, and hopefully Harry Hen can catch up to this safety car. DWR Flames left the session. Let's get him an invite back quickly. DWR Flames, do I have you as a friend? I do not. So good luck getting back in. This is why you add me as a friend, so you can get back in the titty races. However, until then, we are on the safety car, which is very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Sorry if you could hear any of my background noise. My family are being very loud currently. Oh, what? Harrison disconnected? Interesting. I didn't even know. I didn't even see it come up. Let's see here. Well, I don't have some of these drivers on the friends list, so that's why you got to add me before the race so I can accept you and get you in, just in case you do disconnect. We keep saying in the F1RL Discord, make sure you have either me or the Jamaican Bacon added as a friend, just so you can get back into these races. But some drivers seem to ignore it sometimes. Anyway, let's get back to the racing then. Safety car is still out. It should be in this lap, hopefully. Which then we will see the likes of Latifi have to defend from Demizzi and Dilb and Elite Shots going into these first few corners. Let's look at tyre strategies real quick. Let's see who's changed what. So Neokio is up 6 positions currently. Pharrell up 2. Elite Shots up 1. Shredded Meats up 2 into P8 now. Jamaican Bacon down 6 positions currently. Your average Russian with a DNF, as well as Andy Moore with a unfortunate DNF. Let's check stops. So Jamaican Bacon and Harry Hen are the only 2 drivers to make a pit stop under the safety car. So we will hopefully see Harry Hen and the Jamaican Bacon have a good lineup here and hopefully make some good overtakes on the likes of Zonic, Lizard Toes, potentially even DWR Flames and Shredded on those soft tyres. The tyre deg around here isn't very high, but the soft tyres, they will be cooking off the restart, and the mediums will have to defend. Of course, everyone now weaving very aggressively to try and get that last little bit of tyre temperature into their tyres before we go. Safety car is in the pits now. When will Latifi decide to go? Latifi has gone. Clearing a little bit of a gap between themselves and Demizzi and Dilb. But we'll see Demizzi try go round the outside here. Not quite enough room. Will there be any incidents further back? There is an Aston Martin around. That is Zonic into the wall. Keeps the car safe, luckily. Some of these cars just getting a little bit too aggressive by the looks of it. Trying to make moves that aren't really there. As we do see the likes of Shredded get overtaken by DWR Flames. Unfortunate there from Shredded. Didn't defend the position just as good as what he needed to. As we do see a Mercedes there go very wide. As the drivers are now trying to slot into a nice train around Imola. Lizard Toes slowing very early to avoid any potential incidents there. Neokio and Pharrell look to be fighting just up ahead of DWR Flames. Let's get a quick little look at that then. But it looks to be all the drivers slowly spread it out. We will see a move here, I believe, from the Jamaican Bacon on Lizard Toes. Hopefully. But I think he might be running a wet setup. So we might not see that move because the aero might be a bit too high. But Lizard Toes looks to have made a mistake there, which has allowed the Jamaican Bacon to catch up just that little bit extra. But again, not quite enough speed in the back of that car. But I think there is enough speed in the back of this AlphaTauri to hopefully get past Pharrell. And if not, just up ahead, we do see the likes of Neokio up into P6 on the very back of Nova here. Looks to the inside, doesn't take it, backs out. However, now side by side with the Alpine, gets the position done. How will it defend into the corner, penultimate corner of lap 6? Very nicely. Alpine doesn't have a chance. Up 1 position for Neokio. But back to the leader of this race. Looking a bit under pressure here from Demizzi. Latifi's leading into the first corner. Into the second. Into the third. But the Haas right on the rear of the Aston Martin. Looks to the outside, closed off by the Aston. Creating a nice little gap between The Mizzy and Elite Shots. And then a massive train behind all of those. Wow, that's a big train. Neokio goes wide. Nova on the back of Dilb now as well. Position changing left, right and centre. The Alpine slowing. It's like 6 wide here. Alpine's getting swallowed. And the Alpine has been clipped. Not quite enough room to go to side by side around that corner. Shredded Meats is down bad currently. Not quite got the pace on those soft tyres. It's not looking good for Shredded currently. The Mizzy has now got past the likes of Latifi under that DRS. We will also see, I believe, Nova get past Dilb under that DRS. We have seen it happen. But we see more drivers try and go for it. Jamaican Bacon downside the Red Bull. Gets past. Brilliant overtake there from the Jamaican Bacon. And now the Haas wants some action on that Red Bull. Harry Hen looking to try and make a move around the outside. Can't quite get it. Following in behind now. Almost backing off the throttle there. By the sound of it. That engine sounds a little bit iffy. Not quite max throttle by the sound of it. But Latifi is now back on the rear of the Mizzy. Of course, DRS will be enabled yet again at this lap. They are within 1 second of each other. As soon as that DRS gets on, I believe the Haas will get eaten. And it has. The Haas isn't going to defend it at all. But the battery percentage is very even between these two. They both haven't used, or they both have used quite a lot of their battery here. Not enough saved. And there's a car around. It's the Jamaican Bacon. A spin by the looks of it. Or maybe it was a tap around. Either way, it's not going his way. It's right on board with Neokio here. Close to the back of the McLaren. And the McLaren has disappeared almost into the rear of the Mercedes. That was a mistake from Dilb that I didn't expect to see. Dilb, of course, an experienced driver, has been here for multiple seasons now. Would not expect that to happen. But a lot of these soft runners are now boxing for the medium compound tyres. The likes of the Jamaican Bacon could well and truly pit early here from the mediums onto hards and potentially go to the end. It's the same with most of the medium runners, as we are seeing some sun come out onto the track. The sun is out. The track's going to start warming up. We're going to see faster times. Let's go on board with Pharrell here. The Williams driver currently in P5 on the Nintendo Switch, may I add. Having a brilliant race so far. The Mizzy picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track or limit warnings. Whether that is corner cutting or just track extending. 3-second time penalty for the Mizzy. But once again, we will see the Mizzy make the move on Latifi under DRS. Move has been made. These two have a very nice gap of around 6 seconds currently. to the nearest car. Pharrell has got past DWR Flames. Those soft tyres are dropping off. DWR Flames needs to box very soon. X-Zoink slow on the track. Not too sure why. And X-Zoink has span it. Hopefully ghosting is off. I believe I did fix that issue. But it could well and truly be X-Zoink trying to hold up the likes of the Mizzy and Latifi. Just like Latifi held up Jack B, but instead gave him slipstream to cross the line and beat me by a couple thousandths. But no hard feelings, it was an incredible race. The Mizzy leads. Oh no, the Mizzy doesn't lead even. Latifi still leads. The Mizzy just behind. Very close. This is the closest battle out on track, I believe. Actually, never mind Dilb and the Jamaican Baconers, but that was only because of a pit stop. The Jamaican Bacon on a slight alternate strategy to the front runners. Probably needs to box soon for some hard tyres. I've seen these mediums go 21 laps around Imola. Sometimes you can extend it to 22. But it's risky. But we do see here a nice little battle happening between the Williams and the AlphaTauri. I'm just going to let this play out. See how it goes. Under the DRS, will the move be made? By the looks of it, it is being made. Pharrell passes DWR Flames. 12 lap old softs. It's puncture territory time for DWR Flames. Needs to make a pit stop. Will of course lose out on a lot of positions here. Imola being one of the longest pit lanes. However, it's very much needed. And then there's a Mercedes going slow there. And there is the likes of Elite Shots. Not too sure why the yellow flag came out. Elite Shots looks to be doing just fine. Not too sure about that one. Also not too sure why the graphics look not the best at the moment. There is like a slight blur around the cars. Not too sure why that is happening. I am on ultra high settings, so that shouldn't really be happening. But Neo Kyo overtakes DWR Flames, finally goes for a pit stop here. A lot of these medium runners will be boxing over the next 2 to 4 laps, as the pit window shall be opening there. If I am the likes of Harry Hen, Neo Kyo, Jamaican Bacon, I'd be pitting right now for some hard tyres. Undercut is very powerful here in Imola. Although you lose a lot of time in the pit stop, you'll gain much more from the undercut. Well, the Jamaican Bacon though is approaching Harry Hen here. Harry Hen with 1 lap younger tyres. A little bit of contact made, a little bit of wheel bashing. A little bit of push to pass happening here. With the DRS and the ERS. Jamaican Bacon looks to be pushing past. Is pushing past. And that is up 1 position. Harry Hen down to P5. The Jamaican Bacon up to P4. A nice little battle is starting to form here though. With X-Zoink onto the rear ends of these two. Hopefully ghosting is on. And that is the Aston Martin around. And a safety car is out for it. Was it deliberate? I'm not too sure. But that sure has helped all of the people in front of the Jamaican Bacon. And it's even helped the Jamaican Bacon himself. But that has definitely helped everyone out on track right there. One person that it hasn't helped though is Demizzi. We could see Demizzi go into pole here. But we also might not see Demizzi go into pole. It's going to be close. It's pit stop versus no pit stop. Who's going to come out first? Will it be Latifi or will it be Demizzi? I think it is going to be Latifi. And it is definitely Latifi by a long shot. Latifi with the 1 lap younger tyres now. Those hard tyres on Demizzi's car won't like being pushed hard for 1 or 2 laps to then be sat behind a safety car cooling down. But Latifi's tyres, of course, coming out quite cold. They won't mind a gradual warm-up of tyres. But the Jamaican Bacon is down in 9th now. After potential double stack pit stop that didn't go in his way. But Pharrell up into P3 on the Nintendo Switch. Round of applause to him. But now every car is slowly getting behind the safety car now. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top here after this safety car. As we will just slowly flick between all of the drivers here that we have on track today. While we're here as well, let's read out some more facts about Imola and the history of F1 RL at Imola. So, let's see what we can find. What we can dig up from the archives itself. Alrighty, we have seen some of the drivers complain a lot right now about the pit stop. The likes of Demizzi being very angry of that pit stop. Let's also find out what we can find here. Okay, so the Tier 2 current standings, not including Imola. We do see DWR Flames in P1 with 36 points. The one and only Jamaican Bacon in P2 with 26. Elite Shots with 25. Andy with 23. Shredded Meats with 18. Dilb with 15. And Demizzi with 12. Pharrell also joined on points with Demizzi with 12 as well. Neo Kyo on 11. Another Red Bull driver, the other Red Bull driver on 6. Ferrari driver Dr. Fizz Pop on 6 as well. Nova on 4 and Neo on 4. So we will see after this Latifi enter the standings. I'm actually now questioning whether Latifi was meant to be in this race. I'm not too sure. But the Mizzy will currently sit in P1 in the standings, with, of course, providing the Mizzy finishes second in this race. The Mizzy will go up to P1 in the standings, I believe, with Pharrell moving up in the standings to around P3, P4. But one person that is currently losing out is the Jamaican Bacon. Needs to get some time together, needs to get some laps together, needs to make some overtakes, needs to push for this race win. Of course, far down in the pecking order, but there's always potential. They have gone. ERS being deployed instantly for Latifi. Not much changing in the order so far. Harry and Dilb having a little battle by the looks of it down towards the back. The Jamaican Bacon, though, up a couple positions. Zonix retired. Not too sure what happened there. Probably deserved to retire a bit earlier in this race. A couple crashes. Maybe they were accidental. Maybe they were on purpose. I'm not too sure. Couldn't quite control the car at all throughout this race. Zonic not cooking much. The Jamaican Bacon, though, not cooking at all. Let alone much. Not cooking at all. Struggling to get past the likes of Lizard Toes. Is now getting past the likes of Lizard Toes, with a lot of ERS used. Lizard Toes on no battery, though, so it is fine, I guess. Got some work to catch up to DWR Flames. Of course, just ahead of him in the championship as it stands. Needs to get past the likes of DWR Flames. But DWR Flames is pushing onto the back of Nova. Potentially could see an overtake here. Nova running a little bit wide through that corner. Elite Shots overtakes the likes of Harry, now in P11. Let's go back to this battle, though. DWR Flames on Nova. Nova making a few mistakes, but keeps it solid through the back end of Sector 2. Now, passing the pit straight now. No DRS available yet. DWR Flames burning the battery, though. Not quite close enough to make a move. Did look for the inside. Couldn't quite get it. Breaking out the 50-meter board here. Nicely touching that apex. Of course, we have now one lap till the DRS drag reduction system comes into play, giving the cars an extra 10 to 14 kilometers an hour. Might even be miles an hour. I'm not fully sure. But it's very important that DWR Flames stays within that 1 second gap of Nova. Dropping out slightly, 7 tenths. It's a lot to gain on that pit straight. DWR Flames looks to have almost backed out of that battle now, as Neokyo and Nova are now starting to fight. A little bit of wheel bashing there. Nova keeps the position up into P4. But let's go back down towards Shredded. So far last. Penalties galore for the rest of the grid here. If you are penalty-less, you could end up with a good position at the end of this race. It's shaping out that way anyway. We will check penalties very soon. The Mizzy goes into P1 though. Needs to clear at least 3 seconds for that penalty to not come into play. I think Latifi knows deep down it's their win to take. So we could see the Mizzy lead for the rest of these laps, but still not finish in that P1 position. A little bit of driver IQ is needed. Pharrell, of course, trying to close that gap on the likes of Latifi and trying to extend that gap on Nova. 1.8 seconds now between himself and Latifi. Needs to close that gap to have a chance of being in that DRS and potentially then making some more overtakes and potentially going on to win this race. Of course, needs to stay within that 3-second time penalty as well of the Mizzy to have a chance of even getting a P2 finish. This race has been chaotic at times, and we're seeing some more chaos towards the midfield. DWR Flames really pushing that car to try and overtake the likes of Nova here. Sometimes just over braking, it looks like. Almost spinning the rear tyres that little bit too fast, not getting enough rotation around corners, losing out on a little bit of time on exits. The gap is slowly going further away. The McLaren of Dilb then retires in the pits. Has enough of racing for today. Pharrell gets overtaken now by Nova. And the likes of the Mizzy also getting overtaken by Latifi up in the front. Of course, all this battling between Pharrell, Nova, and a little bit of DWR Flames when he gets involved is slowing them down, and they won't be able to catch the likes of Latifi or the Mizzy when this is happening. Of course, Pharrell can see him in the distance just past the halo. It must annoy a driver to see the cars so close but yet so far away. Just about untouchable, but you can see it just off in the distance. The Jamaican Bacon though is closing in on DWR Flames. We could see a move made here very shortly. DWR Flames defends that brilliantly. Jamaican Bacon looks to the inside, couldn't get it. DWR Flames in the AlphaTauri parks his car perfectly on the exit of the corner as well. affecting the Jamaican Bacon's speeds down the straight. Not enough speed in that car. Where did it all go wrong for the Jamaican Bacon? It must be setup wise. Not quite enough aerodynamics. Not quite low enough to the ground to generate that force and that speed. Of course, these cars are generated a lot from the floor of the cars and how high they are off the grounds. Looks to be a high wing setup here for the Jamaican Bacon, which is affecting the top speed massively. Of course, burning that battery every exit of the corner. Goes for a move down the inside. Pushes the AlphaTauri wide. Gets a nice exit and keeps DRS on the cars ahead. We'll need that to defend from DWR Flames, who also has DRS enabled, but that Williams just isn't quite fast enough. You can almost tell in the difference between the cars and their top speeds. The rear wing on that second Williams, the Jamaican Bacon, that little bit higher, almost showing it's got more aero. It might be better around the corners, but it definitely isn't on the top speed of the department. But of course, get away in these two, in this section, in the second sector. Will of course gain some distance on the likes of the AlphaTauri and gain some more distance towards the teammate of Pharrell. But on this straight, the Jamaican Bacon in the Williams is a sit and duck on that straight. You have the likes of DWR Flames maxing out on the top speed of 3:31, I believe that was. Be interesting to see what the Jamaican Bacon's top speed is, but I've got a feeling it won't be 3:31. As you see, a nice little move there from Pharrell on the likes of Nova. Of course, Nova starting very far down the grid. To be up this high is quite impressive. Little bit of bumper bashing there from the Jamaican Bacon up into P4. All he has to do now is hunt down the back of that Williams. Pharrell, of course, in a good position currently. Looking at a solid P3 finish. But potentially a P2 is on the cards for Pharrell. Of course, that is depending on what the Mizzy's penalty will be. But let's see. Other cars were reaching 3:31. No, the Jamaican Bacon is also reaching the same top speed as the fellow cars. Maybe it's not setup related of why the Jamaican Bacon was so slow. Maybe it was all confidence. Slowly finding the confidence in the setup and in the car towards the end of this race. Potentially needs to be let go by Pharrell here. Risky positions to make overtakes happen. Should probably wait until the last sector of DRS. Should wait to the DRS at least. Needs that DRS on the straight. we'll be able to gain some positions, some more speed on that. As there is a Haas that is pulling over to the side. I think that is Harry Henn. Doesn't want to risk any blue flags. Doesn't want to risk a DSQ. DRS deployed. ERS deployed for both Williams. Farrell is fighting the position. Doesn't want to let it go that easily. It won't be good to see a recreation of the two Mercedes in Albert Park that one time with Rosberg and Hamilton. We don't want to see the two Williams take each other out. It's been a clean race so far. Maybe some team orders need to come into play. One driver let another through, because it's getting very close here between the two Williams drivers. There is contact made. I thought that would happen. Both Williams are around. I knew it would happen. I saw it. Both Williams destined for good finishes. Both not willing to concede the position. Third place is all up for play for now. All to play for now for third place. The likes of Nova will want to keep that third place. Of course, we have Neo Kyo in the Mercedes, of course, wanting that as well. And the likes of DWR Flames are also willing to get back into that fight. I have no drink left. It's going to be exciting. Gap to the leaders. Very much so. Penalty-wise, Neo Kyo is out of this chance for top 3. DWR Flames is also probably out of the race for top 3. So I believe we will see Nova keep the second, or no, Nova will keep the third place finish. But the Williams drivers won't be very happy with each other, taking each other out. Both on for great finishes. The Jamaican Bacon with the extra 3-second time penalty. Whether the push to pass was needed on Farrell, we will not know. But a poor mistake there from the Williams driver. Or the Williams drivers. Hard to pin it on one driver, really. But we might still see the Jamaican Bacon have a chance at a P5 finish. Of course, being within that 3-second gap of Neo Kyo. And definitely within that 3-second gap now of Neo Kyo. Neo Kyo picks up another track limit time penalty. That is now 12 seconds worth. Every driver on track has at least one time penalty for corner cutting / track limits. Latifi has gapped Demizzi. The field very spread out apart from this little battle between P3, 4 and 5. We just don't want to see any incidents. No crashing. And everyone should get home safe. But this is Nova's P3 year to win. Not to win, but to have. It's always nice to have a podium finish in F1 RL. It's a true battle every week, in and out. Whether it's a battle in qualifying or whether it's a battle out on track. There's always battles to be had in F1RL. But it looks like we will have a race winner. A new race winner. Latifi crosses the line to win the Imola Grand Prix. The Mizzy to cross the line to come home second. DWR Flames comes home third on track. But it will be Nova to take the third place position due to penalties. DWR Flames will come fourth. The Jamaican Bacon and Pharrell fifth and sixth after a potential third and fourth. Not losing out too bad, but it's a big loss of points. Neokyo comes home 7th. Lizard Toes comes home 8th. Elite Shots in 9th. Shredded Meats in 10th. And Harry Hen in 11th. Just missing out on the points. But wow, what a race. Imola never fails to disappoint. Driver of the day goes to Jamaican Bacon. I would disagree. My driver of the day would be Nova. Getting on that podium, starting so far down. You got to give props. You got to give props. Well, not starting so far down. Having a decent qualifying, I believe. But then from lap 1, dropping quite far down the order to then bring themselves back up. It's quite impressive. We'll have our podium celebrations there. The Aston comes out on top. The Haas in second. The Alpine in third. This will be our final order. Latifi in first. Demizzi second. Nova third. DWR Flames fourth. Jamaica Bacon fifth. Pharrell sixth. Neokyo seventh. Lizard Toes eighth. Elite Shots ninth. Shredder Meats 10th. Harry Hen 11th. Then our DNFs will go to Dilb, Zonic, Your Average Russian, and F1 Andy Moore. Thank you for joining today's race and watching at home. This was Tier 2 Round 3 Imola. Join us tomorrow 7 PM GMT on Twitch. Tier 1 Round 3, also Imola, where we should see, hopefully, Will Manu take another victory. It's close for the championship. Who will win it this season? Will Manu or Jack B? Tune in tomorrow, 7 PM.